Yo, what is good, folks? It's your boy Sports PSP in the building. Hope everyone's enjoying a fantastic day. Happy holidays. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the Sports PSP podcast and YouTube channel. New episode of the Sports PSP podcast will be on Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. Also, go follow me on X, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. I got to talk about the NFL MVP. After what I saw between the Baltimore Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers, two of the top teams of each of their conference, Baltimore in the AFC, San Francisco in the NFC. I think it's fair to say after that game, Lamar Jackson is the favorite to win the league MVP, considering how mid or below the quarterback play has been this season. And Brock Purdy had his chance, folks. Leading into the game, Brock Purdy was the MVP favorite. And in that game against the Baltimore Ravens, he was awful. Laid an egg in that game. He had no touchdown passes and threw 4 interceptions. He was awful. Just awful in that game. And Lamar Jackson outperformed Brock Purdy in that game. Against the 49ers, Lamar Jackson, 23 of 35, 252 yards, a completion percentage of 65.7, 2 touchdown passes, had the longest run in that game, longest run in the season, 39 yards, a passer rating of 105.9, and a QBR of 86.3. Now, look, the numbers for Lamar Jackson this season, they don't scream to you he's the MVP. 3,357 yards, which is 15th in the NFL in passing yards, 19 touchdown passes, tied for 14th in the NFL, to only 7 interceptions, and a QBR on a scale of 0 to 100, 63, which is 8th in the NFL. But the only reason why is because Baltimore is the number 1 seed in the AFC. And considering how awful the quarterback play has been this season, look at Patrick Mahomes, you look at Josh Allen, you look at Jalen Hurts so far. All these quarterbacks have been struggling taking care of the football. You also look at the other quarterbacks, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. They haven't finished this season due to injuries, and they've had their struggles as well. So I think it's fair to say Lamar Jackson is going to win the league MVP. Brock Purdy has his chance, folks. He had his chance, and in that game, he wet the bed against the Ravens in the Monday Night Football game. And let's not forget the San Francisco 49ers. They were losing 3 consecutive games. The Browns, the Vikings, and the Bengals. Okay? So we cannot disregard that. And plus, speaking of Brock Purdy, the person who made his argument about Brock Purdy and should be owed an apology to the media, especially from ESPN's Kimberly Martin, goes to none other than Cam Newton. Because Cam Newton went on his podcast, 4th and 1, and he talked about quarterbacks such as Brock Purdy, Jared Goff, Tua Tagovailoa, Dak Prescott as game managers. Now, I didn't necessarily agree with what he said about Dak Prescott at this point being a game manager. If Cam wanted to say early on in Dak's career he was a game manager, yes, because the Cowboys, they had a successful offensive line and the running game with Ezekiel Elliott, who in Dak's first 3 years, Ezekiel Elliott led the NFL in rushing 2 of the 3 times during Dak's first 3 seasons. But what he said about Brock Purdy was true. But a lot in the media, especially ESPN's Kimberly Martin, took issue with what Cam Newton had to say. This is what Kimberly Martin had to say when she was on ESPN's Get Up. Quote, in the year of 2023, where it's all about NFL backups, where is Cam? Not on an NFL roster, right? So he's talking about all these NFL game managers. He sounds like the people tweeting at me from their basement. Like, get back in the kitchen. Like, you are at home watching me. Just turn the TV off. It just sounds so foolish. Now, Kimberly Martin did receive some criticism and backlash from former athletes, particularly NBA's Kwame Brown, and also most noticeably from her colleague, Ryan Clark, who works at the same network as Kimberly Martin, ESPN. Ryan Clark went on his podcast, the Pivot Podcast, and he came to the defense of Cam Newton. And he also talked about an important situation, such as the messenger, not the message. And I think it was one of those situations as it pertains to Cam Newton. We have a problem with the messenger, not the message. We have more of a problem with Cam Newton than Cam Newton's comments. Now, Cam Newton has been a polarizing figure. Going back to the NFL, his days in college, of course, Cam has had some immaturity comments, particularly in 2012, calling a female reporter a sweetheart. And then 5 years later, he made some sexist comments about a female reporter that led to losing his endorsement deal from Dan's Oikos. And of course, the Super Bowl against the Denver Broncos post-game when he walked out of a press conference. And of course, Cam's outfits, of course. Needless to say, they're not my style. But hey, that's here, no there. But what Cam Newton had to say about Brock Purdy is true. Brock Purdy is a game manager, folks. If you take Brock Purdy out of that situation, San Francisco would still be good. We saw what they were before Brock Purdy. Hell, we saw when they had Jimmy Garoppolo. They were still good enough. They were still competing. They made a couple appearances in the NFC Championship game and a Super Bowl appearance. It has a lot to do with Kyle Shanahan's offense. It has a lot to do with the weapons Brock Purdy has and the defense. That's why Brock Purdy is so successful. So that's why Cam used the term game manager, which is a fair assessment to Brock Purdy. Because let's be honest, folks, Brock Purdy is mid. That's who he is. That's not to say that Brock Purdy can't play in the NFL or is a scrub, but he's not an elite quarterback. If you put Brock Purdy somewhere else, how good would he be? So Cam Newton, after what he said, and after what Brock Purdy showed on that Monday night, he's owed an apology. Cam Newton should be owed an apology from Kimberly Martin and from the media. But honestly, do I really see it? No, because I think it would be beneath the media to apologize to Cam. But bottom line, they should. But Lamar Jackson, in my opinion, is the leading candidate for the MVP because of how mid or bad the quarterback play has been this season. If you want to make an argument for someone else like Christian McCaffrey to win the MVP, that's a fair argument. And Cam Newton is owed an apology. He should receive an apology. But like I said, he won't get one. Those are my thoughts. But anyway, that's how I feel. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. Is Lamar Jackson the favorite right now for the MVP? Do you think Brock Purdy is mid? Do you think he's a game manager? And should Cam receive an apology? Like I said, leave your comments in the comment section below. It's your boy Sports PSP. Enjoy the rest of your day, the holiday season, and peace.